A terrible accident, no probable cause, and no metal detectors in use. Those were the three key takeaways of this very telling news conference with Forsyth County investigators and Winston-Salem Forsyth County school system about the deadly stabbing that occurred on Tuesday on school grounds, resulting in the death of a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. We had a lot of questions as to what led up to the stabbing, who all was involved. One of the biggest takeaways from this news conference is the Forsyth County District Attorney says there is no probable cause to charge the 18-year-old involved in the North Forsyth High School stabbing. This incident left a 16-year-old dead, involved both teens, and according to the DA, the 16-year-old brought a knife to school, and during the struggle, the 18-year-old had both hands on the knife when it accidentally punctured the 16-year-old in the chest. He says it was an accident.
Yeah, so this argument apparently started between two friends over a THC vape pen. Investigators did not elaborate much on that vape pen or the nature of the argument, but emphasized these two children knew each other and they were friends. In fact, the sheriff said when he responded to the scene, and the DA noticed this too, saying the 18-year-old was sobbing, and that outpouring of emotion continued at the hospital, essentially indicating he could not believe what had happened and what he had done in this struggle for the knife in the bathroom. The other key point emphasized over and over again, that video your children have probably seen circulating social media, the graphic video of this incident, investigators say shows only a snippet of what occurred. And again, the DA is finding there is no probable cause to issue charges against this 18-year-old who survived this fight in the bathroom.
Yeah, let's hear more of what he had to say in the news conference.
There is no probable cause in this case, no probable cause whatsoever to charge the 18-year-old with any sort of assault or homicide or even a manslaughter. At the end of the day, this is a terrible, terrible accident.
Sheriff Bobby Kimbrough soon took to the podium after the district attorney, and he talked a lot about the decisions that we make as adults impact children. He said the metal detectors were not working that day, and he also kind of alluded to the fact that some of these financial crisis that we've seen in the school district, budgeting and everything of that nature might have contributed to them not being manned that day.
Because keep in mind, to have functional metal detectors being able to respond if something is detected, you have to have the manpower to staff those detectors. So he did allude, as you said, to mass layoffs that have happened recently in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County schools. So let's take a listen to that emotional part of this testimony from Sheriff Kimbrough, who, by the way, has been at this same podium 3 times in the last 4 years for incidents of violence at Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. And he says enough is enough.
We've got to do better. We got to talk to our kids and tell them this ain't World Star with 11 or 12 people go in the bathroom and watch and wait and video to someone's death. It may not be a criminal offense, but to me it's a moral offense. And we as a community.
He also had this call on the community to get involved in the school system, that it takes everyone to do their part to protect our youth. One of the quotes that he said is, you're either going to be your brother's keeper or you're going to be your brother's pallbearer. And that just is a message that really stood out to me.
We've heard similar messaging from Sheriff Kimbrough in the past. He is a father of boys. He is very big into the community as far as mentorship. And he really emphasizes that the responsibility of our well-being of our youth is on the family as a whole, to make sure everybody is collectively setting a good example and making good decisions. He said we have to do better. This might not be a criminal offense, but a moral offense. We heard a similar message from Police Chief William Penn Jr.
We're better than this. And so we need to get behind his statement and be better than this and take back control. Take back our community.
This was just an emotional news conference all the way around. Some stunning information coming out of this, but the conclusions were very definitive. They emphasize there is an abundance of evidence. There is an abundance of witness testimony that led them to come to the conclusion they did not to press charges in this case. Let's get out to Giselle Thomas. She was live at the memorial outside the high school this morning. Keep in mind the students are learning remotely today. They will go back tomorrow. Giselle, what did you take away from that news conference?
There were three things that the district attorney said that really stood out to me: senseless, accident, and also non-intentional. That's what the district attorney said as he was describing some of the actions that happened. He said it was two students that we know from North Forsyth High School, that 16-year-old Cameron Grant, and also an 18-year-old that we did not get his name. He also described that the two boys were friends. They were close to each other. He even said that they had a conversation earlier that morning before coming to school, and the fight that ended up taking place in the bathroom was over a THC vape pen. So wrapping your head around this and thinking about all the things that came together out of this, it's really disturbing to hear. And you could hear that in the voices of not only the district attorney, but also from Chief Penn, also from our sheriff, Bobby Kimbrough Jr., just hearing their frustration with all of this. Take a listen real quick of some sound from our DA.
A young man went to school this week, and he didn't come home to see his family. And especially at this time of year, when so many of us are thinking about what kind of Christmas gifts we're going to get the people that we love, this young man and his family are suffering unimaginable sorrow and pain.
The district says that moving forward, metal detectors will be used at every school for the rest of this year, and they're going to stick to it. Live in Winston-Salem, Giselle Thomas, WFMY News 2.
One of the things I want to point out is the district attorney had said that the 18-year-old involved has been subject to threats against himself and his family, and they want to urge the community that this should not happen and that there will be consequences if that isn't something that's going on.
Yeah, one key point, and Giselle mentioned that the superintendent said going forward, starting today, metal detectors will be in every school. We are working to figure out if that includes elementary schools going forward, because as we know, as of now, those same safety protocols do not apply. So still some questions to get answered. We will talk much more about this on WFMY Plus streaming right after this break.